guys, welcome back to the Mama Birds podcast. This is just me, Jordan. This week I'm just gonna be doing a little filler episode by myself. Just with scheduling and stuff, it's been really hard to get everybody together at a good time to be able to record. So I just thought I'd kind of jump in and just do a little episode and kind of just talk about some random things, but also just hoping that it might just be a little bit of an encouragement for your week. And I know that the majority of everybody who listens are moms, and so specifically encouragement for moms, but kind of just in general, hope to encourage you. I just recorded a little special little piece with Rhea because funny enough, I was writing the outline for this episode and I was kind of like distracted and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so I was just like, Lord, please just give me something. I don't know how to compose something that is worth anything. But then it was funny because I get a text from Brett at the same time and he's like, hey, Rhea's not going to sleep, so she's going to be down there. And at first I was like, oh my goodness, of course this is happening because I have to do this. I'm already like a day behind and I was bummed out. But I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I've been thinking about. And part of what I was going to talk about was the whole, like, just how being a mom is just kind of hard sometimes and things just don't go how you planned and it's hard to roll with the punches sometimes. But I chose instead be like, maybe this is just something that I can turn around and I can do something fun with Rhea because I know that she's going to love this. I know she loves time with me. And so I don't know if that's going to be what starts this podcast, if we put that little clip in or if we'll put it at the end. But hopefully that'll just be kind of funny. We sat together and we just kind of did some questions back and forth and it was fun. And it actually turned this night into be something really like sweet. And it was good to have that time with just her. But anyway, jumping into kind of what I wanted to talk about, kind of like what's been kind of just on my mind, on my heart lately, and kind of with all episodes of the podcast is things that we talk about are not necessarily things that we do really well and execute really well, but it is all just things that we're going through together. And so it's not ever like I'm coming to you with all the answers. It's kind of just like what we are going through and what we have been trying out, what has worked for us, and what we're learning along the way. And one of the biggest things lately has just kind of been a season of overwhelm and kind of how to handle that. What are some tips that we can do to use through that time? So first, I saw this reel yesterday and it really struck a chord for me. And I was like, yes, this kind of sums up what I have been seeing a lot of lately. And it said, the words on it, it said, how do you know if you're being your authentic self? And the way that they said that you could find out if you were, it said, would you be doing what you're currently doing if nobody else was watching? And I think one of the ways that we can become exhausted a lot of times in parenting is trying to keep up a image or trying to do things maybe like other people or being insecure in the things that we are doing. And maybe that isn't for you, maybe that is for someone, I don't know. But I think that it just is so important to have the confidence in the things that you're doing, the way that you choose to raise your kids, and be okay with that if it's different from somebody else, because we pour a lot of energy in, or it sucks a lot of energy from us if we're constantly trying to portray something that just isn't who we are. And what's the reason for it? I think that it's just this game of just everyone trying to pretend like they're doing it better than everybody else, or that they're not struggling in this area or they're not struggling in that area. I know that for me, I have struggled a lot lately with school with Rhea because she is very, very smart. Rhea is so smart. However, she does not like to do school some days. And also, I knowingly didn't do any school with her up until this fall. I know that she's going to be almost 6, but in my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let her just do her thing and be a kid and not put any sort of structured learning on her until we start kindergarten. And I felt very confident in that decision, and I didn't have any problem with it. I really enjoyed not worrying about anything leading up to this year, and I was totally fine with it. But then as soon as we started school, and obviously she's now just starting kindergarten, and she is learning basic things that probably kids already learned, especially if they went to preschool. And it started to make me feel insecure in that decision that I made. And then I started to see where other kids were at, and it made me feel even more insecure. And I'm like, no. I made that decision, and I still stand by that decision. Just because I'm seeing other kids be further ahead, and there's nothing wrong with how they did things whatsoever, but that I knowingly made the decision not to do that, and I knowingly was okay with what the results were going to be with that decision. So why is it now that I'm hanging out with other people who are ahead or this and that? Am I starting to feel insecure about that? And it's like, you know what? No, because when I'm at my house and it's just me and my kids, I feel very confident in the things that I'm doing. And it's not until I go around somebody else that might be doing something differently that it makes me second guess what I'm doing. And I think that is probably just a me issue. I know that other people struggle with that too. It's not anybody else's problem but my own. But it's just it could be anything. That's just one area that I am sharing and being open about, because for me, I just have to remind myself, and I have a great husband who also helps me remember that she is maybe behind a little bit, but she's 6 years old almost, and she's gonna pick things up a lot quicker now. And that was my thoughts the whole time, and I'm not, and in my heart I don't feel worried about it. It's just that I let insecurity creep in when I go around other people. And it could be anything. It could be iPads, it could be food, it could be literally anything. Stay confident in what you're choosing to do with your kids, and don't let other people's opinions waver. Because when you're focused on what your calling is for your family, then you're going to just live in such peace, and it's going to be one less thing that's stealing energy from you. So be your authentic self. Don't focus on what the other people around you are doing. Be happy for them. They're on their own path. They're on their own journey. God made them differently. God made them the parents of their kids, and you the parents of your own kids. Another thing that I was asked to talk about was being patient in motherhood. And while I don't feel patient all the time, Brett, that's one of the top compliments that he always gives me as being a mom. And so I'll take it even if I don't feel it all the time. But I think that with being patient, I don't know where that necessarily comes from. I think it comes from a lot of prayer, of asking for patience, because I really, inside, I do feel like I'm freaking out a lot of times. But in those moments, I stop and I'm like, Lord, I need patience right now, because I do not feel it. I feel very, very frustrated right now, and I want to lose it, but that would just be acting on the emotions that I have, and so I don't want to. So I send up a lot of flare prayers in the middle of our meltdowns. And it's not that I'm patient because my kids are really good, because that's not my kids are really good, but we have a lot of emotional, what's the best way to put this? What's the nicest way to put this? We've got a lot of emotions going on lately in this house, very, very draining, top tier drama school type meltdowns lately. And it definitely pushes me to my max of patience. So there's a lot of just flare prayers going up, being like, Lord, help me because I don't got this. And so I think that one of the things I've been working on with a lot of prayer is just trying to maintain my calm, because I'm the adult. I should be able to regulate my emotions, and they are 3 and 5, and so they're not there yet. I'm teaching them to, but like I'm also realizing that they act on what they see, and so if I'm freaking out, then they're gonna also freak out. So if I stay calm, then a lot of times it helps the situation. At least it doesn't escalate it. What we've been doing a lot of lately is, if one of our kids are like melting down, then we just take them and we make them sit in a different room, to where they have a chance to calm down. And then as soon as I'm able to kind of get the rest of the house like settled, then I will go and I will always sit down with whoever it is, and I'll pray with them and I'll talk to them and I'll ask, so they feel like heard. A lot of times I think with kids is they're acting out because they want attention and they're trying to ask for it in a lot of times very unfortunate ways. But I'll talk to them and be like, so what happened? I need you to explain to me what happened, and what was it that you needed that you didn't get in that situation? And so it calms everything down and they're able to feel like they were seen in that situation. And then I always just like pray with them, and I'm like, I know that like you have to get to the heart of your kid, and the only way I know how to do that is to truly just be praying for them constantly and praying with them, and knowing like that they just gotta keep turning back to like, okay, we know in our heart that that was wrong. What, right? What made you do that? Like, is that what feelings are making that happen? Like, you love your sister, so why would you do that to her? And kind of just getting to the issues of their heart and trying to like get them to be like, okay, you felt that that was wrong. That's like my thing that I've been talking to Rhea about a lot lately. I'm like, you know when something feels right or wrong, right? And she'll tell me, yeah. And I said, so was that a right thing or a wrong thing? Wrong. So she knows. But we're all sinners, right? So we all make the wrong decision a lot of times. And so just getting back to that and trying to like get the levels back down. And I kind of deterred. I'm realizing that I deterred from from what I was talking about, but that's fine. But yeah, so just bringing calm back to the situation, and then reintroducing them back into the rest of the house and after things have calmed down. Maintain your calm the best that you can. Take a second to walk away from the situation yourself. If it's really upsetting and you do feel those emotions, let yourself have a second by yourself and just be like, okay, take some deep breaths and then go address the situation. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. And in that time that you take a breath, everybody else will probably have a chance to take a breath, and the situation will probably already be like de-escalated. Is that the right word? I don't know. And then you can kind of start over. Other things that came to mind when I was thinking of ways to just kind of avoid burnout or try to push through burnout was just your relationship with your spouse. Because I think that once you have kids, your relationship with your spouse definitely goes through a new phase, new season, if you will. And it's just, I'm going to say hard, but again, like one of my favorite sayings is hard is not the same thing as bad. And that's true with everything in motherhood. It's the same with your marriage. It's hard to add kids to your family. But it's not bad. It's great, and it can be incredibly life-giving, and it can grow your marriage in ways that are just amazing and like nothing else can do. However, it comes with a lot of other difficult things with it, and that's okay to say and that's okay to feel. But what I've seen and what I've experienced is a lot of times we let our emotions with our kids, and the way that the day went can have a direct impact on how we can treat our spouse or how we look at our spouse. And if I'm flustered with the kids, it makes it sometimes really hard for me to not get frustrated with Brett about everything too. Even if he's doing nothing wrong, it can just be like, oh, like he's doing this way, and I hate that, and it's just frustrating. But really, that's because of my feelings about this other hard thing that I'm going through. And so I would just like encourage you to start focusing on your marriage and focus on things that build your spouse up, because a built up spouse is going to build you up in return a lot of times. Not all the time, and that's a hard thing, but regardless of if you feel it in return, I just know that there is nothing bad that can come from encouraging your spouse and building them up always, because in most cases, I will say that you will start to reap the benefits of that as well. And what that can look like is just being encouraging. And I think it helps to know kind of like, okay, what are your husband's favorite things? I am big on the love languages. I like to know like what is Brett's love language, and what are the things that make him feel loved, make him feel valued and appreciated, so I can then like pay attention to those things. And yeah, it can feel like, okay, oh, here's just another thing that I have to be on for as a mom. And I just want to encourage you that like this being a mom and a wife is a really, really hard job. I feel that every single day, but I also feel like the goodness of God in this area of my life, these areas of my life, because God is going to give us what we need for each one of these things. Like he wants all of these things to be great. He wants your family to just be thriving. And so if we ask for it, like we're going to receive it. And it's like, for me, a lot of times I'm like, Lord, I'm not feeling these things right now, so I just need you to like step in, and I need patience. Like I said, I need ways to like be spontaneous with Brett, or like to encourage him, because I don't feel it. Like I feel kind of like angry right now, and I know that I need to love him, but I need your help because I'm struggling. So there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the biggest ways that you can serve your spouse is just to be praying for them. The little things that like are the things that irritate you and you don't want to pray for those things. The things that feels like they're never going to change, pray for those things. And one of my favorite things that I got in the habit of doing, which I actually forgot that I kind of like got off track of this, but I was really, really enjoying it, was every single night, Brett always falls asleep like the second his head hits the pillow at night, but so I'm always up for a little bit longer. But I'd always like put my hand on him, and I would just like in my own head, I wasn't like praying out loud over him or anything, I'd just be like praying intentionally for the things I knew he was going through, and then also things that like I was struggling with maybe with him, and that I just needed encouragement to keep like loving him through. And it was just kind of like a great way for me to always fall asleep to it. And honestly, like I mean, Brett and I don't think anybody has a perfect marriage, but like I love our marriage so much. I love him so much, and like I feel like every single year it just keeps getting better and growing, and we just work through things so much better now. And I truly believe that like it's the amount of work that he puts a lot of work into it, and I also put a lot of work into it, but honestly just like the amount of prayer that I think goes into things is just like I can see the fruit of it. And yeah, I feel very, very blessed by it. Not that it's always easy, I don't mean that at all, but the Lord has just been working a lot in me and helping me to just be a better spouse, and in turn I've felt Brett becoming a better spouse at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't know. But another thing is just like going, I mean, I had like, it's easy for me to do this because we are together all the time. He works from home. But just going in and just randomly like just rubbing his shoulder, or like tapping his arm if he walks by, like actually paying attention, like looking at him and giving him a kiss, or Just the intentional, like, touch points to where, like, you don't even have to necessarily say something, but, like, men do notice when you just, like, put your arm on them even, or put your hand on them, rub their back. Like, those things make a big difference, even though it doesn't necessarily, like, seem like it would. I think that it makes a difference for sure. And just, like, just being thoughtful of them. And, like, if you at night are getting yourself something to drink, just be like, can I get you something to drink? Or if you're getting a snack, be like, just get them a snack. Because I feel like a lot of times when we get to the end of the day, it's like we've been doing stuff for people all day long, and I'd really like him to just get me a snack. But I bet you he'll get you a snack the next day if you get him a snack tonight. I don't know. just random things that, like, work for me, so maybe it'll work for you. Work on communication with your spouse. I can't, like, I can't emphasize that enough. Don't allow stories to start being made up in your head. If you start making stuff up in your head, you're going to start, I think we talked about this on the last podcast, and it's just like, it's not fair to you and it's not fair to them. Because if it could be something that's just not really wrong and they're having an off day and now you're taking it wrong, and then it's going to be like you're just viewing things through just a bad lens for too long. So just communicate everything, hard things and good things. Like if something good happens to you, or even just something mundane happens to you and you want to share it with someone, share it with your spouse before anybody else. Like keeping like things special between you and your husband is like really important because it makes them feel important. There are things that like are so silly and like Brett probably doesn't care about, but if something happens, I always do want to share it with him first because he just is just my person. That's fun, and like I think that makes a difference and it opens that dialogue. Does he communicate everything with me really well? No. So I'm not saying that like some guys are really, really great communicators. My husband is really great at communicating like with argument stuff. Like it was funny because I was really trying to get him to like do this with me so we could just talk about like how we work through fights and stuff like that, and he's like, babe, I hate talking, and so you're gonna put me in a vulnerable situation and I hate that. And I said, but babe, like I always like I love how we work through things, and like we've talked about it before, like I think it would be fun to have your opinion of it and stuff. He goes, we are not good communicators. I'm like, well, what do you mean we're not good communicators? He goes, like we just fought like a little bit ago. I'm like, and he's like, and that wasn't good communication. I said, but we literally worked through it within 15 minutes. And he goes, yeah, we let 15 minutes go by of that stupid argument. I'm like, babe, you have no idea. Like, most people would let that go on for so much longer. Like, so just like 15 minutes to him is like a really long time to like sit in conflict, which is funny. So we're really good at like working through like conflict communication, but he is not somebody who is necessarily going to like want to talk about just anything all the time. Like we have like rules set of like, okay, if there's something emotional that I need to talk about, it needs to be earlier in the day. We need like set time aside to talk, unless it's like a big deal, then we can talk at night. But like he does not like talking at night, and that's fine. And so we like set those kind of like parameters of this is the best time to talk about things. And I don't know, that was such a rabbit trail of thought again, but yeah, just being respectful of like how they like to communicate. There's nothing wrong with that, but just to communicate is good, and just start feeling like feeling that out and just start doing it. I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Another way is just like, and we're going to talk about this more in depth, I know, on the next episode with like all the girls, but like sex and keeping that as an important part of your marriage, because it is super important. It's not only important for him, but it's really important for you as well. And it's a great like connecting point, and for so many reasons. Like, I don't know, there's a lot to say about that, but I'll just keep it at that. Like, one of the best things, and we talked about this at church, funny enough, and it's kind of a good like rule of thumb, I feel like, is you have a discussion with your spouse about like, okay, how often is like our number that we are going to shoot for, of like how many times a week are we gonna have sex, and then sticking to that. So then there's not like, you guys are both on the same page, like his number might be different than your number, but like find a common ground that you can agree on and then stick to that, because sex just is great for your marriage, and it just is. So for so many reasons, and having good communication about sex, which we'll dive into that more too. I don't need to, it's awkward for me to just sit here and talk about sex by myself. I need to have Darren and all of her words. But yeah, so keep that relationship with your spouse just like at the top. I always say, like, your relationship with the Lord, most important, but then it should be your spouse. Okay, Brett just came in here and he goes, I can't wait to listen to this. And so now I'm just like, this whole thing has been such a mess. I'm like, you can't listen to this. I have so many nerves now. To a little bit on track, because I know that this has kind of been all over the place. But something else that I do want to say is that you are doing a better job than you think you're doing. I promise you. I don't need to know you on a really deep level and like sit down with you for hours to know that you're doing better than you think you're doing. I think it's just so easy as moms to think that we are failing, we're not doing good enough, we're not doing it right, but none of us have like playbooks. Nobody has an instruction guide to how we're supposed to be doing this, and that's all of us. So of course we feel like we don't know what we're doing, because we're figuring it out on the way. But you are doing a great job, and we can always find something to like to motivate us to do more and to do things, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with like striving to like get better in areas that you're weak in or whatever. But don't sit in a mindset that you are not good enough for your kids, or that you're not doing enough, or that you're doing a bad job, because I can promise you that you're not. And even if you're just going through a hard season, it's okay to go through hard seasons. It's okay to go through like winter seasons is what I kind of like to think about, because I like to, for some reason, I always just like picture trees without like any leaves on them. And why do I get emotional when I talk about this? But like, we all as moms go through this season where we're kind of like the trees in the winter, where we don't have like a whole lot of life, but we still have a purpose. There's a reason that trees don't fall down in the winter, and there's purpose for that season, and it's okay, and you're still alive, even if it's like everything is kind of feels dead. You're still there, and you're still thriving. You just look different. You look maybe a little bit more burnt out, but spring comes and everything starts to bloom, and you start to see the fruit of everything that you've been doing. And I promise you that the seeds that you're sowing right now are going to like yield such a harvest if you just keep going and keep doing what you're doing. In Galatians chapter 6 verse 9, it says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And that's like my favorite verse since becoming a mom, and because it's like it's kind of that whole picture of just like, you have to sow those seeds, and they will grow, and we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. And I know it feels like a lot of times as a mom, like I don't even have the option to give up, even if I wanted to, but you don't, and that's okay. But in those moments, that's when you just like, I mean, in every moment, but especially in those moments, just ask the Lord to come near to you. Ask the Lord to sustain you, because he's going to. He's going to pull you out of those dark times, and he's going to just encourage you every single day. And I promise, if you ask for it, you will receive it. But truly, truly, just ask for it. Yeah. I feel it with you if you're in this season. I feel like as though I'm kind of coming out of that, which is such a great feeling. So there is hope. But I still do get like emotional, because I I know how hard it is, and I know how weighty it feels and how just discouraging it can feel. And I don't even think that, like, anything I said maybe it can't even scratch the surface, because I feel all these things like so deeply, and I'm like, I wish that I could just like hug you, and I wish I could like walk with you hand in hand through each day and just be like helping you through it. But honestly, me and my insecurities behind a microphone is not the best way to encourage people, I'm realizing through all of this. But just know that you're doing a great job. You're so loved. Those kids love you so much. And honestly, like, I'll add in the part with Rhea as soon as I stop talking and you can just listen to her. And for me, it just was like one of those things that like was such a cool thing just to listen to her. It's not like she said anything super huge or anything, but just listening that she just loves me and she thinks I'm doing a good job. But at the end, and you'll have to listen for it, because at the end of me talking to her, I said, what makes a mommy a good mommy? And I was expecting her to say something like kid-like, to be like, oh, the way that you do things for me and love me, which she said that too. But the first thing that came to her mind was Jesus, and it like caught me off guard, and I was like, that's so, so true, because what makes moms good moms are Jesus. And that is just, I feel like I gotta leave it there, because yes, when we are connected to him, we are going to yield all of those great things and yield those blessings. We're going to feel his spirit inside of us, and we're going to feel encouraged to just keep stepping through the next day. So I hope that through this clustery mess of me trying to talk by myself, which was a lot more uncomfortable than I thought it was going to be, that you found a little bit of encouragement, or at least some entertainment. But thank you guys for listening. I am always praying for anybody who's listening, and just all the people around that I know that are just momming it up next to me. I'm just praying for you, and as always, please just send in any prayer requests if you have any. I'd love to know how to specifically be praying for you or how we can be helping you. But I love you guys so much, and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this little clip with me and Rhea. Bye guys, have a great week. So, Rhea, how old are you?
I'm 5 years old.
And when do you turn 6?
On Christmas.
Ooh, I'm gonna almost have a 6-year-old. Oh my goodness. What are you most excited about for your birthday?
I'm excited about to say hi to my friends at my birthday party.
What kind of birthday party are you gonna have?
My grandma said I'm gonna have a gumdrop party.
Ooh.
And she got fun decorations for me.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Do you know what you want for your birthday?
Little calico critters and dolls and mini brands.
I know. That is like one of the most fun things about as the kids get older, just the fun toys that they start to play with and actually like play together with each other and have a cute little imagination. It's so fun. Well, Rhea, so I know that you said that you play podcasts sometimes. So are you excited to do one with Mommy?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think that we should talk about?
Talk about our family and Jesus.
Okay, that's a great answer. So I will ask you some questions, and then you can ask me some questions, okay? Okay, so what is something that we do in our family that you really, really like?
I really like doing school with my mom, and I really like going on walks with my mom.
Aww. What are you learning in school right now?
I'm learning to count, and I'm trying to count to a number that I'm trying to count to, but it's so hard I can't remember.
What's the number we always forget?
I keep forgetting.
It's so funny because Rhea is actually really good at counting, but for some reason she always forgets 13. So we like made a whole Taylor Swift joke, and we like put 13 on her hand because that's Taylor Swift's favorite number, and we're getting there. but for some reason 13 is just out of there, right?
Uh-huh.
What else are you learning?
I'm learning about what else?
Homeschool's going great. Do you think mommy's doing an okay job teaching you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that you're going to like being homeschooled?
Yes.
Do you think that you're going to miss out on going to school?
No.
How come?
Because
What do you like about being homeschooled?
because Mama gets to be my teacher.
And that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it always a good thing?
Yes.
So, what is your favorite way to be encouraged? You know what encouraged means?
Mm-mm.
So, what's a way that mommy is really good at making you feel good about the job you're doing and make you want to do better?
I like when Mama comes up to me and gives me a hug.
Yeah, I really like that too. You do really like hugs, don't you? Yeah. Is there another way?
I also really like her making food for us.
I make lots of food for you, don't I?
Yes.
Do you eat it all the time?
No?
How come you don't eat the food I make?
Because
Why?
I like playing.
You just like playing. I know. Sitting down and eating is hard.
Yes.
So, what is something else that our family does that you really enjoy doing together?
I like all of us going to church, and Mama and Mimi kind of picks us up sometimes.
From church?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part about church?
I like when we sing together in color after, and I like meeting friends there.
Do you meet a lot of friends?
I kind of meet like 2 or 3 or 4.
What's the best way to make a friend? Like I remember when you used to be scared to talk to people at church. What if you were talking to another kid that was really scared to be a good friend? How would you tell them to make friends?
Well, I came up to a person at church, and she was feeling sad about she'd never had a friend before. So I came up to her, and I asked, "Do you want to be my friend?" And she came up to me, and she played with me.
That is so awesome. I'm really proud of you for doing that. And was it scary?
Nope.
Was it scary the first time you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now you feel more brave to do it again? Yeah. That's so awesome. Mommy does the same thing too. I get scared to talk to people I don't know sometimes. And then I have to get brave.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do you like to do after church? What do we do?
Daddy buys us food from church, and sometimes I play with my friends around the park.
Who are all your friends that we play with?
Cooper, Blair, Chippy, Darcy.
Yeah. And who else?
My sister, Davy.
So do you like having sisters?
Yes.
What's your favorite part of having sisters?
Because we like playing together a lot. My Davy is so funny. She always is a dirty face monster.
She is. She likes to get into everything, doesn't she?
Everything, even paint.
Yes, that is very, very true. She's our messy girl. And what's your favorite thing about Darcy?
I like that she's my sister
Mm-hmm.
because I really like tickling her when she goes to bed. Because she always says, "Okay, I'll tickle you." And she always wants me to tickle her because we are sisters.
Yeah.
And we always play together.
Yeah. Rhea and Darcy sleep in the same room, and usually Darcy has to have me tickle her head to sleep. But Rhea took over the job of just tickling her head. And so I'll go up there to check on them, and Darcy will already be asleep because Rhea just sits there and just tickles her head. It's really cute. I love how good of friends you guys are. Do you think that you're going to always be friends?
Yes.
How are you going to do that?
Try.
You're just going to try. That is a great answer. I love it. Yeah. So what is something that mommy struggles with?
She always struggles with having kids, and she always struggles, trying to take care of us.
I mean, you're not wrong. But how do I do? Do I do okay at doing it?
Yes.
What could mommy do better?
At teaching me school?
All right, this has turned into quite the roast fest. You know that mommy loves having kids, though, right?
Yeah, she likes it.
Do I like it or do I love it?
Love it.
And do I show you that well?
Yes.
That means, do you know that I love you all the time?
Always.
Always. What is something mommy does to show you that she loves you?
Like she comes up and gives me a hug.
You really like those hugs. Yeah. What could mommy do better to show you that I love being your mommy?
Everything that you do for me.
You already think I do a pretty good job, or I could do better?
Always do a great job.
You're so sweet, honey. I love being your mommy. I'm super, super lucky.
I love being your kid.
Yeah, you're so sweet. Oh, do you think that we should have another baby?
Maybe.
Or do you like just having your sisters?
I like my sisters too, but I also want a boy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, can't choose.
I don't know.
What happens if we have another girl?
That means there will be tons of girls in our family. Like, we'll have Blair, we'll have Mama, we'll have me, we'll have Darcy, we'll have Davy.
That's a lot, huh?
Mhm.
I like that Blair got added to that. Do you like hanging out with all of your cousins?
Yes.
And tell us about all your other cousins that we get to go visit.
Well, I meted my two cousins when I was a baby, and a long time ago I visited them.
Where do we go to visit all your other cousins?
At Missouri I have a boy that is named Lincoln, Parker, that's a boy, Hadley, that's a girl, and Peyton, this is the big one, and that he's my friend. And Jackson, he's little.
Yeah. And we love going to visit everybody out there, huh?
Mhm. And what was I gonna say again? It's kind of sad because I don't live with them usually, but I'm gonna go back to Missouri and go meet them always.
Yeah. It's sad because sometimes we have family or friends that we have to say goodbye to sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
And how do we do that?
Well, we have to just know that our friends and our cousins are always here for us.
You're right. You're so sweet. So, do you have any questions for Mommy?
Well, I like Mama. Well, Mommy, I like her doing stuff for me. I really like her being my mom. Well, I like her doing school for me. And I love really playing with her. And I like that she gives me a hug when I go to sleep. And I like hanging out with my dad and mom.
Yeah. So tell us about your daddy.
My dad, he's going to take us to the park tomorrow.
That will be so fun. Do you know how lucky you are to have Daddy as your dad?
Yes.
Yeah. What are some special things that Daddy does with you?
Well, Daddy yelled at me upstairs, but...
Because you didn't go to sleep.
I know.
Is that why?
But then when I put his hand on him, everything was okay.
Yeah.
Because I put his hand on me, and Daddy said, "Okay, let's go downstairs."
Yeah.
I don't know why he did that. He just, okay, let's go downstairs. And he said really kind.
He was just like, you know what? This isn't going to happen, so we're not going to get upset about it.
Yeah.
But what are some things, other than tonight, because we got in a little bit of trouble tonight, but other than tonight, what are some things that you enjoy doing with Daddy?
Well, I like taking, he always takes us to Target. Mama goes to the gym, and he always plays with us sometimes. He kind of sits outside with us for a bit.
Yeah.
Then he has to go in, and the iPad charges, and Daddy said, okay, that's enough on the iPad. So I got off of it when he said, okay, it's done. So I just got off of it and just go play outside with the kids.
So we just got a little rundown of your afternoon, huh?
Lots.
What is your favorite thing about Daddy?
I like him put in, I like that he always says that I can go watch a show upstairs.
Daddy's the easier one to get you to watch a show, huh?
Actually, I really like when he gives me a hug too.
Yeah. Rhea is my physical touch, for sure. That is how she receives love. She loves her hugs, huh?
Loves my hugs.
Yeah.
Oh, mine!
So, if you had to tell a mommy how to be a good mommy, what would you say you have to do?
You just have to try to do it, and I'll always help you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What makes a good mommy a good mommy?
Jesus.
Aw, that was such a good answer. I really liked that, actually, sweetie. So, is there anything else that you want to say?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Do you want to go watch something?
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else you got to say?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and getting on the podcast with me.
Welcome.
I had a lot of fun with you.
Me too.
All right. Bye, babe.
Love
Cute.
you.
Want to say bye?
Bye.